Hey, so I wanted you to kind of have an idea of where my office is. It's very quiet here right now. I'm here on a Friday, doing some recording, a little more casual, but I wore an appropriate shirt right for a statistics video. So yeah, I'm in Building D. There's my office number right there, 214. And if you look on the syllabus or the syllabus video, you can see when I'm available. And you don't have to make an appointment during those. You can pop in anytime, even though you're an online student. You can still see me face to face. If you can't make it during those, you can always shoot me an email and we can coordinate something in office. I'm often here in the afternoon when I don't technically have student availability, but I'm usually here working on stuff. And then Fridays I'm usually here, like today, working on videos, getting caught up. So let's talk a little bit about what to expect week 3. All right, so week 3, we're going to do our first statistics or actual calculations. We have measures of center, mean, median, and mode, measures of spread, range, variance, standard deviation, and then we have measures of position, where one individual is in relation to the whole, percentiles, quartiles, z-scores, which is very, very common. We'll talk a lot about that this semester. We have some of that measures of center and spread from grouped data. And then we have box plots, right? And looking at outliers on box plots. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about the measures of center and spread, looking at our data from Illinois schools again. And I thought I would look at the variable average ACT for high schools. And I was interested, like, are there two different groups I can compare? And what I picked out was high schools that are in school districts that are only high schools. And then other high schools are in what we call unit school districts, which have high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools all together in one school district. And so you can think of, there might be differences between those types of districts. High school only, well, they can focus only on high school issues. And then the unit school districts they can talk more about they have to be a little more inclusive because they have diverse groups of faculty and students in there. So maybe they'll be different. So I made up a histogram of high school only, and you can see the average ACT is about, trying to line it up here, is about 20.9. So 20.9 is the average on that one. Standard deviation is about 2.6. And then over here we've got the unit school districts, and the standard deviation, or the mean for that one, you can see is a little bit lower. So that would be, which direction? I'm trying to get all reversed here, but the mean is a little bit lower, 19.3 on that one. And the standard deviation, this is interesting. I was expecting it to be, since it's more spread out, it has these extreme observations over here. I was expecting it to be a larger standard deviation, but actually because it's more condensed in the middle, and there's this big peak in the middle, it actually has a smaller standard deviation. It's only about 2.4 for those. So on the surface, one thing we might wonder here is, well, look over here, for the schools that are in high school only districts, they have a higher mean. And so maybe we should do that. We should focus on making our high school districts high schools only. Now the problem is, and you should be having red flags going off in your head, this isn't an experiment, right? This is just looking at data that already exists. This is an observational study. And so there are lurking variables. And one lurking variable we know that really affects student outcomes is poverty and the percentage of students that are low income. So I made histograms for those as well. The percent are low income for high school only districts, and the percent that are low income for the unit districts. And here you can see that the majority of the high school only ones are in the middle, 20 to 60% low income. And there's a big chunk of those as well for the unit school districts, but then there's this spike over here for a big chunk of schools that are in majority, almost 100%, or more than 90% low income. And so one of the things we'll look at later on this semester is this relationship between schools that are concentrated high poverty students and their outcomes. And we'll actually see there's a very direct relationship between poverty and its effect on learning. And so you have to be careful drawing conclusions just based on these ACT scores, because there are underlying factors at play there. So I thought, well, just another interesting data point to look at to demonstrate this week's topics. So yeah, look in D2L for some StatCrunch videos. We've got a lot of new skills we are going to be learning in there. Be sure to watch those, and as always, send me an email or comment below if you have any questions.